Microscope reveals the secrets of ladyfinger banana skins. What you've never seen. Opening teaser. Have you ever peeled a ladyfinger banana and looked inside? It's a thin layer that's often thrown away. But have you ever imagined that beneath that tiny layer lies an incredibly complex universe? The vibrant colors, the strange fibers, and the mysteries that even the naked eye can't see. Today, we'll be explorers. We'll take the ladyfinger banana peel under the microscope and uncover all its hidden secrets. Get ready. Introduction. Getting to know ladyfinger banana. So, what we're seeing now under the microscope is the skin of a ladyfinger banana. There's one part that rarely gets attention, the inner skin. A thin white layer adheres directly to the flesh of the fruit, as we can see in the first 10 seconds of the video. I'll explain these findings one by one. Believe it or not, the answers relate to biology, chemistry, and the wonders of nature that we often overlook. Experiment begins, observing white fibers. First, we've peeled the inner skin, and immediately visible white fibers that resemble fine threads. This is the first question. Why are there white fibers like that? It turns out, the white fibers are vascular bundles. This is the banana's natural transportation pathway. Imagine it like a highway system inside the fruit. There's xylem that transports water and minerals from the roots to the fruit, and there's phloem that sends the products of photosynthesis. The white color comes from the parenchyma cells that surround the vessels, plus starch granules. When we peel, these fibers are pulled along because they are firmly attached to the fruit's flesh. Longitude lines, secret structure. Second question. After the white fibers are visible, there are lines running from end to end. What are they? What is their function? These lines are the remains of larger vascular bundles, as well as the natural pattern of cell walls arranged parallel to the fruit's axis. Their function is crucial. First, they act as a pathway for transporting water and nutrients from the stem to the rest of the fruit. Second, they provide mechanical strength to prevent the skin from tearing as the banana grows. They act as a flexible framework that keeps the fruit intact until ripe. Microscope starts, shiny surface. The third question arises. Why is the surface shiny at the beginning of the video when we observe it under a microscope? Look, there's a reflection of light like a thin crystal. It turns out that on the surface of the inner skin cells, there is still a cuticle layer carried from the outside. The parenchyma cells here secrete a natural mucus called mucilage. This mucus is rich in pectin and polysaccharides. It is reflective of the light of the microscope, thus creating a shiny effect. In addition, the intact and smooth cell walls also reflect light. Water in the skin even though the fiber is removed. Fourth question. When the white fibers are removed from the skin, why does the inner skin still contain water? Aren't the white fibers the ones that transport water? The white fibers are indeed vessels, but the ground tissue of the inner skin is parenchyma. These parenchyma cells have large vacuoles that function to store water and food reserves. So even though the vascular bundles are removed, millions of parenchyma cells remain intact and store water within them. This inner skin is designed to store water reserves and remains wet when touched. Brown color change, oxidation drama. Fifth question. When the white fibers are removed, the inner skin immediately turns dark brown, even before further inspection. Why so quickly? This is an enzymatic oxidation reaction. Inside the banana peel cells are enzymes called polyphenol oxidase, PPO, and phenolic compounds. As long as the cells are intact, they are separated into different compartments. When we remove the fibers, we injure the parenchymal cells. The enzymes and phenolics meet oxygen from the air. A reaction occurs, forming a brown pigment called melanin. Ladyfinger bananas have high phenolic content and enzyme activity, so the color change occurs instantly. Clear shiny line after fiber is taken. Sixth question. After separating the white fibers under the microscope, we see longitudinal lines that are actually clear and shiny, not brown. What are they? They are the channels where the vascular bundles run. The walls of these channels are smooth and still coated with residual pectin mucus. Because they don't contain much pigment or starch, light passes through them, making them appear clear. The shine comes from the still wet mucus. Mysterious color surprise. Seventh question. When the white fibers are removed, colored spots are found under the microscope. Let's examine them one by one. White represents undegraded starch granules, and these calcium oxalate crystals are the plant's natural defenses. Light gray and dark gray represent the early stages of phenolic oxidation, which are still mild. Black represents advanced oxidation, which has formed concentrated melanin. It could also be dead tissue residue. Light brown and dark brown represent stages of oxidation with varying intensities. The more damaged cells are, the darker the color. The green, like longitudinal stripes, are chloroplasts or residual chlorophyll, especially if the banana is harvested before it is fully ripe. So, even though the skin is yellow, there's still some green pigment remaining in the inner layer. And finally, light orange. These are carotenoids, natural pigments that appear as chlorophyll begins to break down. In ripe bananas, these carotenoids are revealed and give a soft orange color. Thank you for watching. See you again in the next video.